Hello. It's been a while, honestly, now, hasn't it? Yeah, I haven't really been around this year very much on the YouTube side of things. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've posted a few videos. I had my Path of Exile content. I had like random videos on like Cutting Edge and whatnot. I had Pigeon. Good content all around, not gonna lie. And honestly, it's been quite a bit since I've just kind of sat down and done a little yearly update video. And I figured since this year I haven't really uploaded a lot of major videos or anything, I figured that I should go ahead and do another one. After all, the last time I did this was, I want to say at the end of 2023. And yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about things here now, shall we? First off, I wanted to go ahead and talk about 2025 because there's probably a number of questions as to what I've been doing in this whole year. And to start with, I just wanted to quickly look back on like the videos that I did just to kind of get an idea for where I was with every single video that I was making. I started off with like the Path of Exile, one of my Path of Exile 1 videos, and that video was fine. It was fine. All things considered, I was trying something new. I was trying to gauge interest, and honestly, the interest was not really there. So I kind of just decided, nah, I don't really want to do that. After that, I ended up finding out that they had pigeons in Voices of the Void, and there was no mask to them, so you could order as many as you wanted, and made an entire video about that. And honestly, that was probably one of my absolute favorite videos I've ever made. It was silly, it was fun, and it was totally ridiculous. I absolutely loved it. And honestly, I wish I could do more stuff like that. I just don't know how to replicate it. It was completely natural, completely in the moment. I saw it was a thing. I turned on my recording software and I said, yep, this is what I'm doing. After that was my Path of Exile 2 video. Can I break Path of Exile 2? People hated that fucking video. Now, here's the thing. I actually don't mind the video. I think it is a very good look into how new players who have never really played Path of Exile or don't watch other people's content, how they would perceive Path of Exile 2, because that's what I was inherently. I was someone who was very much getting my start. I was not really using any guides because honestly, I think that ruins a lot of the fun. And I still believe that even now, a whole year later. And so in general, I was like, yeah, I think that is a good video, but people hated that video because I chose not to use a guide. And that was the main issue people had. They were like, oh, well, you don't want to use a guide? Well, guess what? You're not going to make it anywhere, fucko. Also, we don't want your kind around here. You're stupid. You're dumb. If you're not going to play the game by my rules, then I'm not going to accept you. Well, guess what? Who's the one who got 40-40 challenges in the Mercenaries League? Not these fuckos. And I want to say that the negative reaction was mainly because of the title. Can I break the game? And the answer was a resounding no, because the game didn't want to be broken. It was very, very rigid. It was very safe, which is very counterintuitive to what the first game was. And that is what I wanted to really put forward. And with some of the changes that they've made, like removing the limitation on support gems, making it so that you can sprint, which by the way is something that I directly said in that video. I said one for one that if they didn't want to add movement speed as a major thing or use movement skills or anything like that, they should add a sprint button because it's a good middle ground. They added that into the game for real. So I guess that I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but I almost wonder if the developers did watch that video. Honestly, though, after that video, I had a major mental, slump because of the negative reaction to the video, and I really couldn't get out of it until I was able to finally, beat all of the pinnacle content in the first game, because I felt like that would be a good starting point to do. Now, I can do that no problem now. It's pretty easy. I can do it pretty much every time now. But I even took on the challenge when the Mercenaries League was a thing, because Settlers was ending and going over to Mercenaries, that was a video that I did where I was looking back on my time with Settlers. I was going to do one for Mercenaries, but again, viewership was low with Path of Exile content. Mercenaries, I actually got all 40 challenges completed. And for those who don't know, that's huge. That is a very big deal, because that means that I even managed to beat, I think it was like 5 Uber bosses, which are notoriously unfun, difficult versions of Pinnacle bosses. Other than that, I had obviously a video on Repo. I did a video on Majora's Mask Randomizer. I had a video on Cutting Edge, which was the first major game this whole year that I was actually excited for. And keep in mind, that was at the end of August. And I guess that will lead me to another point, but real quick, I just need to go ahead and do all the talking about where I've been, because obviously I've not been doing a lot of videos. And so people are probably wondering, well, heck, what have you been doing in the meantime? And honestly, the main thing that I've been doing is artwork. I have actually been doing a lot of artwork in my spare time, mainly in the form of commission work. And obviously, I will put the warning here. If you message me about this stuff or go looking for it, be sure that you're 18 plus, because if you are not, I will kill you. Okay, maybe I won't, but you know, I am not above killing children. Yes, the artwork that I've been doing has been questionable, to say the least, but the good news is it does make me some pretty decent money. I've been getting pretty dang frequent commissions. There have been months where I've kind of had to conserve my money, but there's been times where I've been able to successfully pay even more rent to my family, because I do still live with my family. They're really cool about all this stuff. But honestly, yeah, that's what I've been working on. It's been going pretty good. You even get to see some of it occasionally whenever I work on like the thumbnail assets. I actually made all the thumbnail assets that I was going to start using after the Cutting Edge video, but unfortunately, I kind of didn't have any videos in the idea box, so I just kind of couldn't use them. Yeah, that's a problem. I also wanted to mention that for a while, I was using Adobe Premiere Pro as my video editing software. And don't get me wrong, I've been using that since I first started back in 2018, and it is a decent bit of software. I wasn't taking full advantage of it until 2022, but I was like, okay, whatever. Well, I had plenty of problems with it, trust me, and they all came to a head this year when shit was just getting, I don't know how else to describe it. It was groan worthy of how bad this shit has gotten. Adobe is terrible. I'm gonna be honest. I've used their stuff since 2018. 2018, it was fine, but then as years have gone on, it's gotten worse and worse, and the price has gone up and up and up. Like originally, whenever I was buying it, it was like, I think $18 a month. Now it's $25 a month. And you have to make sure, if you're going to buy their subscription, you have to do like a yearly or monthly subscription. The monthly is even more than that, and the yearly, it's slightly less, but you're locked into it for the year, basically. And if you don't want to finish up the year, then you have to pay half of the remaining subscription in order to get out of the subscription. That is what I had done ever since 2018. I had been on the yearly plan. Yeah, that meant that I had to wait until November to finally end my subscription. Good news, I have ended the subscription to my Adobe services, and I am completely debt-free. I'm also Adobe-free, which is the more important thing. And so this is actually going to be the first video that I'm editing using the new program, DaVinci Resolve. I know a lot of people use this software, and I've heard very good things about it. I've heard that it is very comparable to Adobe Premiere Pro, but I had my doubts because I was obviously, like, I'm used to using one thing. I didn't want to make the swap to another one just to find out later that, oh, hey, it's not the same. But honestly, with how shit Adobe had been getting, I was like, I might as well just go ahead and make the swap. And yeah, I did. So there we go. Other than that, obviously, I've been playing a lot of Path of Exile. There's not really been a lot of games that have been coming out this year or prior year, like in general, there's not been a lot of gaming that I've been excited for. And that's the main issue that I have with making content, is that I always make my videos because I'm like, hey, I found this new game that I really love and I really want to talk about. You know, I did it back in the day with Hi-Fi Rush. I did it with Voices of the Void, everything like that. And for a while it was Path of Exile. But the issue is that Path of Exile content is not very viewed heavy. Like, it's not good for viewership, I'm gonna be honest. And I don't like the fact that that is the limiting factor, because it's a hard game to get into. It's a complicated game as well. And so not everybody's gonna want to play or watch content on that. And plus, I mean, it does have a bit of a reputation as a dad game. I mean, even in the community, everyone just kind of jokes around that everybody's like a middle-aged man with working a 9-to-5 with a wife and 2 kids, you know? And it's like, the fact that that is just like the picturesque, that is what a Path of Exile player is kind of funny. Yeah, honestly, I've been playing a lot of that, and there's not really been a lot of games. Like, again, the most exciting game that I had seen, and you saw how excited I got whenever it happened, was Cutting Edge. Cutting Edge is essentially a follow-up to the Trauma Center series from an indie dev who's also a furry. Yeah, I'm in. I was in. I was hard on. I had hard on. No, I'm not gonna say that. It was a good game. It was really good, and I'm really looking forward to the next major like release, the full release of the game. I've been following the development a little bit, and apparently it's been progressing very smoothly, and that just makes me very happy. Other than that, there's not really any games that I'm looking forward to next year that have been announced that I know of. No, honestly, there isn't. I was trying to think of if there was. There isn't. So honestly, other than that, it's just been a lot of me just trying to exist. I don't need to explain that I am from Texas. I'm pretty loud and proud about that, but it does get kind of rough whenever, you know, the political climate of your entire country is a cesspit. I don't know how best to describe it. It's terrible right now. So I just kind of choose to exist. And at the beginning of the year, I said to my friends, I will choose to live on. I will choose to be myself, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop me. And it's worked for an entire year so far. So I'm taking that same attitude into the new year, and I hope y'all do too, because honestly, that is a good mentality to have. Now, on to potentially the main reason that a lot of you are going to be wanting to watch this. 2026 is a year. But the question is, am I going to be returning to making content? And the answer to that is a resounding maybe. And I say maybe because, again, the issue with this year was that I had a lot of mental strife going on. There was a lot of external elements, like the entire United States as a whole, just in general trying to keep myself afloat by maintaining some form of income. But this year, I'm definitely starting to notice that things are getting a bit more stable for me, for my family, and that's good. I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for all of you who support me, obviously, for that same reason. Let's talk about videos. Let's talk about the video side of things. What do I want to do on this channel? Well, for starters, one thing that I have been neglecting this past year has been written content. For anyone who doesn't know, I started my entire YouTube, I don't want to say career because it's not really a career, it's just more of a hobby that makes some extra money on the side occasionally. Like sometimes I'll just get $50 and I'm like, ooh, hey. Obviously, written content I want to bring back, and I'm not talking like all the retrospective, the review videos and whatnot. I think I would want something more like the not the Path of Exile experience. That could be a thing. Don't get me wrong. That could be a thing. But I'm talking like the Voices of the Void experience. You remember like the 0.6 video? That is what I want to make. I want to make more videos like that are written, and they're more written just to string clips together. They're meant to make a narrative to a set of otherwise narrative-less clips. You know, it's like, that's what I was doing with those videos. And I think that worked. I think that was fun. That was interesting. On top of that, I think in order to give myself something a bit easier to work on that would give me some more long-term staying power, I don't know what best term to use other than that. I would love to do like some kind of maybe like some series content. Like one of the big things is that this whole past year is I've used Minecraft Let's Plays in order to maintain my inspiration. A lot of like the Hermitcraft people and whatnot, because I actually grew up with Hermitcraft. I actually used to follow the original creator back whenever it was, back when he was around. It was one of those where I want to do series because I think that would be an easy way for me to do big, long, like have something to look forward to and come back to every week. If I wanted to do something more like that. On that note, I actually did want to tease at something that I wanted to work on for quite some time now. I did mention watching Minecraft Let's Plays, and it's funny that I should mention that because I actually do kind of want to see about potentially getting some of my creator buddies together, maybe some of my friends who don't really do creation stuff but have featured in videos and whatnot, people like that. I would love to potentially get them together in order to host a Minecraft server of some kind. The issue is that Minecraft servers have the issue, and I've had this for years, where we play for probably a week tops, and then everybody just kind of goes their separate ways. Nobody really interacts with each other, nobody does anything, everybody just starts leaving the server, and we move on with life. And that's the one major concern that I have, is I don't want to put all this effort into a Minecraft server just to find out that nobody wants to play it. So heck, I want to see if I can make something more interesting, more fun. And that is something that I've been kind of working on in the background, is ideas on how to make things fun. One of the main ways to do that would be like having a monthly meeting where we all kind of get together and just be like, hey, what do we need to change in order to make things more fun? And then we all kind of discuss that, That is an idea though. I don't have any, I need more like concrete ideas to also make this stand out. Obviously, being a more mature rated Minecraft Let's Play series would be its own, it would be its own selling point, don't get me wrong, because that Minecraft is a game for kids, and that is the way that they advertise themselves. So inherently, me and my friends would be going against that. So yeah, that's like the one major selling point that we have. The other thing is, on the note of series, which I mentioned before, I actually want to go back and play a bunch of like older games that I used to play that I have fun with, and I would love to go and play those, but I know that that kind of content doesn't always get a lot of viewership. So honestly, if you see anything like that and you want me to keep doing stuff like that, then the best way for you to really hammer that home is quite literally through just telling me. I'm not saying that in order to be like, oh, you should like, comment, and subscribe. I actually do pay attention to that stuff, because based on how many views I get, how many likes, how many dislikes, how many comments, and what those comments say, I will actually base my content around that. The reason I stuck around with Warframe content for so long, a couple of years ago, back 2024, was because people loved that first video. Meanwhile, I went to do a video on Path of Exile and everybody hated it, so I just never did it again. Other than that, there's some other stuff that I wanted to talk about. For one, I have actually started game development again. So for those who don't know, back at the beginning of 2024, I downloaded Unreal Engine and started work on a 3D platforming game called Purple Digitalis. And that little demo that I made was pretty dang fun, actually. It was kind of fun to be able to run around, jump, and do whatever. But it was very bare bones, and I pretty much swore whenever I got through doing that I was going to have to rebuild the game from the ground up. At the end of that video, I showed that I was working on a little horror project, but the problem was that horror project was getting way too demanding for what amounted to not the best project, all things considered, and I still didn't really know what I wanted with that. So it was a lot of ambition for not a lot of solid ideas, is the best way to put it. I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to Purple Digitalis, and I'm going to start working on that. I'm going to use this as my jumping off point into game development. And I've started working on that. I've already got a lot of the main controls down. Blast jumping has been removed, but it will be added back in a future update as a unique mechanic that you can unlock. It's been very fun to do this, and it has made me really fall in love with game development again, because for those who don't know, I freaking love game dev stuff. I love nerding out about like the technical side of games. I love talking about game design. I love coming up with ideas and concepts for games and whatnot. It's fun. It's really fun. So I guess one of the main things is that I was actually wondering if y'all would be interested in seeing videos on the game development process. Not just as like update videos on Purple Digitalis as it's worked on, but like making an actual game in like a series format where I can kind of tell you what's going on with it, what's the design thought process behind everything. And I even have some ideas for games that could work like that. Like maybe I could make something based on my favorite game mode from Path of Exile, Blight, because yes, Blight is basically just a tower defense, but it's a tower defense where you are also a player. That's not common in tower defense games. Having a little unit that you control and fight alongside your towers, that's not common at all. Other than that, I think another thing that I could do is I could actually start streaming again this year. I've seen that Moth has been getting a lot of viewership on streams, and obviously I've been on a few of them, and that has been really awesome. It has kept me kind of like feeling like I'm doing some kind of content, some kind of entertainment, because obviously I do a lot of this for entertainment. I do it because I think that y'all will have a fun time, and that's why I was like, I didn't want to do it for a while, was because I didn't feel like I could authentically put that across. But I was actually wondering if y'all would be interested in seeing me start streaming again, either here on YouTube or maybe back on my Twitch, or heck, I could even look into doing multi-streams where I do both. I want to try to keep it to one stream. And I think that YouTube would be a good one because it would put my focus into it, which is a good thing. But I do have Twitch stuff, and I also don't like splitting my viewership, which is the main reason why I'm saying YouTube so much. I would honestly say that's probably everything that I wanted to talk about. It's been a lot of rambling, obviously. I have a notepad thing up that helps me kind of keep track of things, but for the most part, I didn't script this at all. You can definitely tell by how meandering it could feel at times, and that's normal of me. I promise. I am a rambling idiot. I will admit that much. And again, I do thank everyone for putting up with my lack of content. I do appreciate everyone sticking around. I do appreciate all the support, all the love. And I do appreciate everyone who has also been supporting me on my artwork side of things, because they've been very much keeping me alive this year, which is amazing. I literally, at the beginning of the year, I didn't think I would. Last year, if you had told me that I would be able to make a good amount of money, make enough money to make rent, I would not believe you. But here we are today. Yeah, honestly, I think that's really all I want to talk about, though. Thank you all so much for watching. If there's any points you want to weigh in on with regards to this video, definitely talk in the comments. Obviously, I'm not trying to do this for like, like, comment, and subscribe, all the metrics and whatnot. I genuinely, it does help me figure out what content you want to see more of in the future. Even if it's silent, even if you just like a video, that's enough. That tells me this video is worth it. Hell, if you share it to your friends, that is also big. That also tells me that people want to see more of this. Yeah, in general, I plan on doing some videos next year, but I don't know how many and how frequently, I guess. Because I've got a lot of work that I still need done. I still need to make money. I still need to do my artwork. I am doing game development again. I've mentioned all this before, and in general, I'm just looking forward to what the new year brings. So, once again, thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye.